Now let us solve this problem. 4 over 6 times 4 over 3, or 4/6 times 4/3. 4/6 times 4/3. This 4/6 can be written as 4 and there is 1/6 in it. Similarly, this 4/3 can be written as 4 and 1/3 in it. So let us substitute. When we substitute, it becomes 4 times 1/6 and 4 times 1/3. I have taken the whole numbers at first. So 4 times 4, and then I have written the fractions 1/6 and 1/3. Okay, the next step is to multiply all the numerators together. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 1 is same 16, divided by the denominator 6 times 3, which is 18. So the fraction we have now is 16 over 18. Now simplify that fraction. Both are multiples of 2. 16 is a multiple of 2 and 18 is also a multiple of 2. So when we simplified, it became 8 over 9. And that is the answer. Let's move on to the next problem. So in this problem, this picture represents the area model for the question 4/6 times 4/3. Let me explain. 4/6 has a whole 4 in it and a fraction 1/6 in it, and 4/3 has a whole 4 in it and a fraction 1/3 in it. Okay, so this fraction, let us focus on the rows, and this fraction focuses on the number of columns. Okay, so let me write R for rows here and C for columns. If you see here, 4, there are 4 rows. 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 rows, right? 4 rows. 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 rows, right? So 4 rows, and then 1/6 represent the size of it. So this is 1/6, this is 1/6. The size of each box, each row is 1/6. And in column 4 represent 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So that is why the 4. And 1/3 represents 1/3. 1/3. So this is 1/3. Right? So that is 1/3. So this is how we draw the area model. The first fraction 4/6 is labeled here on the left, because when you see 4 rows is shaded and the number of rows is 6, right? So 4 rows is shaded and the total number of rows is 6. And 4/3, you see, it is partitioned into 3, 4/3 partitioned into 3, and 4 columns is shaded. So this is column 1, 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 columns are shaded, and each column has 3 partitions. So 4/3, right? When it is 4/3, it must be greater than 1. We know that 3/3 is 1. When it is greater than 1, it is 4/3, and this represents how it is greater than 1. If it must be in less than 1, then we would have drawn everything inside one box. Since we have 2 boxes now, that is because the fraction is greater than 1. 4/3 is greater than 1. In this problem, we have to subtract two mixed numbers, 12, 5 over 6 minus 5, 7 over 8. First, let us subtract the whole numbers. When we subtract the whole numbers, 12 minus 5 becomes 7. And now let us deal with the fractions. 5 over 6 minus 7 over 8. If you see here, before subtracting, we need to make it into like units, right? To make like units in the denominator, we need to find the least common multiple. So this is a multiple for 6 and this is a multiple for 8. When we see both, compare both of them, 24 is common. That is a common multiple. So to make 24, we have to multiply the first fraction with the fourth position, and then we multiply the second fraction with the third position. So when we do that, we get 5 times 4 by 6 times 4, and then minus 7 times 3 by 8 times 3. 5 times 4 becomes 20, over 6 times 4 becomes 24, and then 7 times 3 becomes 21, and 8 times 3 becomes 24. Now we have like units in the denominator. Let us just subtract the numerators. We get, so in this case we cannot subtract the numerators because it's a smaller number minus a bigger number, right? So for that, let us take one whole from the 7. When we take away one whole from the 7, it becomes 6. So 7 becomes 6, and we have one whole, right? So that we can write 1 as 24 over 24. So let's substitute the one whole as 24 by 24, so that we can subtract this fraction from that whole. So when we subtract that fraction from the whole, it becomes, so that's a step, whole minus the negative fraction, and we get 3 over 24. So then let's continue adding the other fraction which is left. So let's add that fraction, and the 3 plus 20 becomes 23, and we have the same 6, so it becomes 6/23 over 24. So this problem is solved in a similar way. You can pause it and learn from it. Okay, now let's do 5 over 8 times 8 over 3. We just have to simply multiply the numerators and denominators together. When we multiply the numerators, it becomes 5 times 8. 5 times 8 becomes 40. And then 8 times divided by 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 40 divided by 24. Both are multiples of 8. So 8 times 5 is 40. So write a numerator 5. And 8 times 3 is 24. So write the denominator 3. So the answer is 5/3. Is 17 over 18 less than 1? We know 18 over 18 is equal to 1. 17 over 18 is less than 1. That's correct. Is 8/7 greater than 1? We know 7/7 is equal to 1. So 8/7 is greater than 1. Let us solve the next problem. 7 over 8 plus 9, 11 over 12 equals what? We have two mixed numbers here. So first step, let us add the whole numbers first. So 7 plus 9 becomes 16. Let's substitute 16 instead of 7 and 9. So 16 plus, and let's add the fractions next. So 7 eighth plus 11 12th. Before adding these two fractions, we need to make sure they have like denominators. So for that, we have to find the common multiple, right? Yeah. When we found the common multiple, it is 24, and this 24 is in the third position, and this 24 is in the second position. So let us multiply the first fraction with 3, and then let's do the second fraction with 2. Let's multiply the fractions. When we multiply, we get 51 by 24 and 22 over 24. Now let us add. We have the same like units in the denominator. So let us add the numerators. When we add the numerators, we get 73. So the answer is 1673 over 24. Okay, now let us solve the next problem. 4 8 plus 6 8 plus 7 8 equals what? Look at the problem. They all have the same unit. They're all in eighths, like units. So don't worry about anything. Just add the numerators together. So it becomes 4 plus 6 plus 7 divided by 8. So which is 17 over 8. It is 17 over 8 can be written as 2 1/8. How do we get this? If you see here in 17, there are 2 8s in 17. 2 8s becomes 16, and there is one more number to reach 70. So that is how we get 2 1/8. You can see this in a division when you divide 17 by the number 8. So 17 is the divisor and 8 is the divisor. When you divide it, 8 times 2 is 16, and when you subtract 17 minus 16, you get 1. So the answer is 2 1 over 8. So that is how we got the answer. Is 27 over 25 greater than 12 over 15? We know 25 over 25 equals 1. Same number divided by same number equals 1. And when the numerator is little bit greater than the denominator, that means the fraction is greater than 1. So, absolutely 27 over 25 is greater than 1, and it is 1 2 over 25. Okay, so this is shown using division. So you can see it here. We have the quotient 1 and the remainder 2, and it is greater than the other number. The other number, if you see, the numerator is less, so 12 is less than 15. So that shows that number is less than 1. So what we found is this fraction is greater than 1, and this fraction is less than 1. So let us make the symbol like so to represent this fraction has a greater value. Let us do the next problem. 20 1/8 mixed number, and then plus 3 3/6, which is again a mixed number. It's the same method. Please go through this problem. You can pause it and learn from it. Okay, I'll move on to the next question. So this is again another addition of two mixed numbers. I have done in the same method. Please pause it and learn from it.